And welcome back to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This is the Tuesday Morning Buzz. I'm your host, Kyle Pepitone, with my co-host, Jacob Getz, joined with James Olatunji, the SGA Executive President candidate. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing very well, and yourself? Thank you guys for having me today. It's amazing. It's a great honor to be here.
Thank you
For
for
being
coming on the
here,
show.
James.
How was waking up? Because it's not easy, is it?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm in the military, so like
Oh,
waking up is
Oh,
not a
word.
bad gig. Like I
Yeah.
remember I usually wake up at like 04 in the morning, and now it's like 06. I got a couple hours of sleep if I got home around like 12 p.m. After 12 a.m. on camp from campus yesterday. I got a couple hours of sleep in there. Not a bad gig.
well, you're doing better than most of us
Hey
here.
man, gotta take it as it comes. You feel me?
So, our first question, what made you decide to run for president of the student?
Well, it's a big thing. I feel as though right from high school I've been called to service because in high school I was in different organization that that does community service to people.
Right.
I was in a ROTC, we went out there and do a little bit of community service. Then at the age of 17, I decided to join the military. I decided I don't want to come to college. And my father convinced me to come to college, and I decided to come to college to continue that legacy. My first couple of years in Montclair State University, I wasn't active. In 2019, I got deployed as a to a combat zone to Somalia and Djibouti, and then I came back and I was like, I need to get involved on campus, which got me into joining the student government as a legislature, and that's one of the reasons why I feel as though like I want to get involved with running for president of student government. This is the second time I'm running, also back to back.
Yeah, no, we have a question about that. So you did run last time and you did not win. Could you tell us a bit about that experience and what you learned from it that you might be implementing now?
Well, the thing is, somebody told me you only fail when you decide not to try again. That's
Mm,
failure. Um, Obviously, last semester I wasn't as popular on campus. I haven't done as much on campus, but I decided that we need a voice, a person who's not scared to speak up to the administrators, a person
mm,
who is willing to challenge authorities, to make sure the voices and the demand of Montclair State students are heard. Because pre-COVID, Montclair State was a different university entirely.
Mhm.
Post-COVID, Montclair State is a different university entirely. So
Yeah.
like we need to change the stereotyping, stop being comfortable in the situation we are in post-COVID right now, because the students are getting comfortable right now, and that's not what Montclair State is about. Montclair State is a lively college and a lively institution.
mm,
So that's why I just took my failure from last time. I learned quite a lot from there. And like I made sure I try to impact the student government as just a legislature, because I passed a couple of bills that helped Montclair State University a lot. So like I just tried my possible best to make sure I'm out here trying to make sure the voices of the students are heard and the demand of the students and organization are here. And Montclair State is should be very much inclusive to all of the race and culture it has, because Montclair State is a university for low income family and minorities in the society.
Yeah.
mm.
And you mentioned pre, post, and during COVID, Montclair was different,
Hmm.
a different campus in all three of those times. And since you've been part of Montclair State since 2017,
Yeah.
what are some of the changes you have seen around
Well,
college?
pre-COVID, Montclair State usually had a lot of stuff going on outside,
Mhm.
especially in
Yeah.
the quad. No
Yeah.
matter if it's in the middle of winter, in the middle of fall, in the before summer, there's always a lot of stuff. I remember the food truck. My favorite thing about the food truck is the ice cream truck. I miss
Right.
the ice cream
Ooh.
truck so much, because before I went on my deployment, I just go, after class, I come out, I see the ice cream truck, I get me some ice cream, I go straight to the library, and I'm in the library till dawn. I don't come out, I don't do anything. That's before I deployed. After I deployed, then COVID hit, and I'm like, oh Lord, what's
Mm,
going on? And like all of these things that usually make Montclair State, like the activities we usually have, the event Slam usually posts, the event the student government usually
Yeah.
come up with, they can't do a lot with these things no more. And the budget of the Student Government Association has been cut down because of the lawsuit we had. So like, yeah, the budget has been cut down because of the lawsuit we had. So like, it's just a lot of, I don't want, can I say craziness? There's a lot of
Craziness. Yeah.
craziness going on
Yeah.
in the student government right now. We just need somebody to, to get it right for
Right.
me.
Yeah. And you've also been had some pretty interesting campaign strategies. One of which was to go into class and ask professors permission to speak to everyone about your plans if elected as president. How'd that go, and how did it like work?
Well, basically, we're in a free country. I mean,
Yeah.
like, you only fail when you don't try.
Yeah.
Obviously, the least the professor could say is just no, yeah, I'm sorry. And I'll be like, yeah, no problem. But like, I have to try my luck and be
Yeah.
like, hey, professor, do you mind if I speak to the student, take 3 to 5 minutes of their time? And they will sometimes, most of them agreed. I mean, I tried it yesterday. A lot of professors agreed to me to do that.
Really?
And like that kind of like make me bond with the student, and they understand the passion and the fuel that's inside of me driving me, because some people just want the position just for the name of it.
Yeah.
I don't want it because the name of it. I have a career of my own already. I'm 22 years old and I'm an homeowner. So like, I'm pretty much set.
Yeah.
I don't need this for an interview, but if it comes, I don't have to put it on my resume. I just want to lead. I just want to make sure the voices and the demand of the students are heard. One thing that was interesting, I came to this building yesterday, and one of the professor for journalism, I asked her and she let me, and she made sure all of the students in the class asked me questions. And I was like, wow, this is very interesting. And that's really, really good. That's what it should be about. It's not like you just give out flyers and say, vote for me, and you just blindly vote. Ask questions. I want people to ask me questions to know the reason why I want to run. That's why I did that. And I think it's a really, really good strategy. I spoke to a lot of people. I felt as though I connected to a lot of people as well. And it was really beautiful. It was a beautiful experience.
And as you said, you want to run to lead, not for the position. So if you are elected, what are some of your goals for the SGA?
Well, like I said before, I've been in the student government for 2 years as a legislature, and I've seen a thing or two, a lot of things. Well, my main thing is accountability, accessibility, and inclusion. For accountability, let's talk about parking services, dining services, rec services, res services, counseling and psychological services, and transportation services. Let's talk about parking services for a little bit. We all understand that students in Montclair State pay close to $400 for parking, and most time they try to look for parking and don't find it. This is not fair. And like, I spoke to the president of the university, Dr. Jonathan Capel, and the vice president. Then we spoke. I had an idea as per how we could, fix this situation. I told him if we could diversify our classes, because to be honest with you, there are some classes we could take online instead of coming on campus to take, like some language classes. I don't think it's 2022. I don't think you need to come on campus to take those type of classes, to be fair, because, some people go online and they pay this, apps or whatever to take language classes, and, they get it done and they're very fluent in these languages. I feel as though we need to adapt to the society, to fix some situation. If we're able to do that and diversify some classes, this will make space for parking spaces and will reduce the traffic we have on campus. Let's talk about dining. I've been in this university since 2017. So the dining is gone down the drain, and it's pretty terrible because, sometimes they're on like, yeah, the food is undone. They have bugs in their food, overcooked, undercooked. There's not a lot of food options for students on campus. And I don't think this is proper because we're paying top dollar, for Chartwells. Chartwells are the contractor for our food on campus. Right. They're not doing a good job at it. Students are getting tired now. Students have to like order Uber Eats from different restaurants because like the food on campus is just getting repetitive, and it's very much tiring. Let's talk about counseling and psychological services, CAPS. Everybody know what CAPS is?
Yep.
They're not inclusive. Imagine a person on my collar who comes from somewhere. And like, I go to CAPS because of college is really, really stressing me out. I'm tired of college. It's draining. My professor don't care about me, this, that, and the third. And then I go to CAPS. I'm like, this is what I'm going through. They wouldn't understand where I'm coming from and the situation I've been through in the past. So like, how are they able to fix me? Montclair State is a university full of diversity, people of different race and culture, ethnicity. If all the people of different race and different color go there, how are they able to fix them? This is something that needs to be fixed because mental problem in university is real. People need to get their mental health right. And if the university is not doing a good job to do that for us, who's going to help us? This has caused depression, anxiety, failures in classes, and the worst case scenario, probably possibly suicide. This is not what we want here. We want the voices of the students to be heard. We want our demands to be met. This is part of our demands. Let's talk about the shuttle services. I am a commuter. I come to this campus. Obviously, there's no parking, so I have to go to transit to park my
Right.
car. And then I have to wait for the shuttle in the cold in the middle of winter. And like one shuttle is just gonna pull out from a village instead of making the right to come to Sinatra. They just make the left and go back to lot 6. And I'm like, dude, do you
Ugh.
want me to walk to
Mm.
class? This is terrible. I've been late to class a lot. In the middle of winter, I'm sweating just because I have to go up the hill to
Yeah.
come to class in the middle of winter. It was pretty terrible. And these are the changes I am willing to make if I become student government president.
Yeah, and what do you think sets you apart from other candidates?
My passion,
Mhm.
my passion. I feel as though because I have failed before, it takes a lot for a person to fail before and stand up to want to do it again.
Yeah.
Really. My passion and the desire to want to make sure the voices and the demand of the students are heard.
Mhm.
I have had meetings with the president of university, Jonathan Capel, the vice president, Dr. Flores. I've gone to all of the meetings that students need to go to understand what decision the administrators are making. I've gone to this meeting. I am a computer science major. It is hard. I got to stay up on that trying to figure out a program or write a code or something that works. But sometimes you just have to make that extra time. I don't leave this campus around like 12 a.m., sometimes 1 a.m. in the morning to go home to come back the same day and do the same thing again.
Right.
This is passion that fuels me. And this is what people don't understand. You have to ask questions because some people just are very much passionate about what they're doing. And I'm very much passionate that I come to Montclair State for free because I'm in the military and like the military pay for my
Right.
tuition. This is
Yeah.
my way of giving back. My passion fuels me. I don't know if any of you guys were there when I was speaking to the board of directors. You saw I made sure their voices of the students are heard. A lot of the students were there, but nobody was willing to speak. It took a lot of courage for one person to speak for 22,000 students.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people could do that. It takes passion and zeal to want to do things like that. And I feel as though I have it. We need a person who's very much passionate, a person who will not quit, a person who's understanding, a person who could see the bigger picture, a person to always ask the difficult question, no matter how hard it is. I feel as though I'm that
Yes.
person.
I do want to ask you, since you talk a lot about representing,
Mhm.
such a large group of people, which is of course a pretty big responsibility. And I think that in order to do that, I think that'd have to, in order to justify that, there'd have to be a pretty big involvement in like the campus community and
Mhm.
knowing people and knowing the demands and knowing,
Right.
the culture around here. Could you talk about a bit about your like involvement on campus?
Well, like I said, I've been here since 2017, and
Right.
I've been involved in different type of orgs. To begin with, I'm with BSU, Brotherhood, NAACP, Ladies First, the LGBT community for the Black and Brown people on campus, basically all of the E3.
Hmm.
So like I've gone to different events, different general body meetings just to understand and see where the ed of the students are at. This
Yeah.
is what I've done. Then I go to I'm part of the President 40 for Dr. Jonathan Capel. And we go to these meetings to talk about, yeah, these are the things that are going terribly wrong on
Mm.
campus. And these are the ways that we student want you to fix it. The main thing is there's a very big disconnect between the administrators and us, the student.
Yeah.
So like we need a middleman to bridge the gap between that. And that is what I'm trying to do. So like being here since 2017 and going to different organization meetings, different body meetings, cultural meetings, I've seen things, I've heard things. Students are not satisfied with the service the university had given to them.
Yeah.
And I feel as though I'm the type of person who could bridge the gap because the difficult questions that people are not willing to ask, I am willing to ask them. And I have asked them. The record is there in the SG legislative meetings. We've had meeting with dining services, rec services, the health service center. We've had meetings with CAPS. We've had meetings with the president, the vice president,
Mm.
a lot of meetings. And like, I feel as though I'm the only one speaking because not a lot of people want to talk about this issue plaguing our campus community. And like, it's really terrible. Not a lot of people want to speak, but the people who are willing to speak, they feel as though I'm yelling too much. Like, I feel as though people are just tired of hearing my voice because I just want to make change that everybody wants.
And a big thing with Montclair is that many students here don't know what SGA is or what they do. Could you
That's a big
explain a little
concern.
bit more? Because like you've said, you've been part of it for 2 years
Hmm.
already. You've gone to all these meetings. You've
Hmm.
had discussions with all these different
Hmm.
organizations on campus. So what is the main picture that SGA is?
Well, the Student Government Association is a corporation separated from the university.
Right.
So like what the SGA is like we are like a union. Let's put it like a union,
Mhm.
but for the student. The student pays the SGA, like out of your tuition, they take student government fees. If you don't know, lately it's been around like $35, but in the past it was around $45.
Right. Okay.
So like they take it out of your fee. So like this is the fee that contributes to all of the event that Slime is hosting, Student Life at Montclair, CSI is hosting, Central Student Involvement on Campus, and like the student government and all of the orgs and clubs that need money, the student government is the one funding all of these bills. So like the student government is for the student. And for the fact that a lot of people don't know what the student government is a problem, because if you're having a problem, who do you go to?
Right.
We have to make sure the student government is heard. And how do we do that? We need a person who is passionate about the cause, a person to go to all of these meetings to shed light on what the student government is and what the student government is about and what the student governments are doing. This is what the student government should be like. We should fuel the rage and the fire in the students so they understand what they're paying for, because you're paying for this. We're just a separate entity. The student government is a separate entity from the university. And this is what it is. This is what the student government is. We are about the student and the student involvement on campus. We want to make sure you come and get your education from the administration, the faculties, and the staff, and also enjoy the college experience of Montclair State University while you're at it. And we need to make sure our names are known also, because we are the big people. Like we speak and represent the student. That's what the Student Government Association is about.
Yeah, no, that is really important for people to understand. I think that there's a similar kind of lack of knowledge around just unions in just generally in America, and I don't think it's like accidental. But yeah. Um big, I guess, wrap up question. Uh why do you deserve my vote for SGA president over Richard Steiner Otto?
First thing I'll say was Richard at the board meeting to plead your case for the raise in tuition. Was Richard there when the $10 million was withheld from state funding? The $10 million that could go in your pocket, $10 million that could support people from low income family, $10 million that could make a difference in people graduating and making a step for themselves and taking their family off the poverty line. Was he speaking for you like that? Did Richard come to your class and speak to you and tell you to ask him questions about what is his goal for running for student government? I don't want to throw Richard under the bus, but I reserve my comments to myself. I don't want to say anything ridiculous, but he's not doing any of this. I'm very much passionate about this. I've done a lot of stuff from Montclair State University. I've asked questions, difficult questions. Richard is not asking those questions. Richard is just saying, vote for me. And I want to say it so bad, but I don't want to say that at the same time because I don't want to be controversial.
Right.
But really, if you look at my agenda and all the things I've accomplished on my Instagram page for Montclair State, the most important is supporting our Muslim brothers and sisters who are participating in the Ramadan month. They're able to, fast. They're able to go to restaurants now to eat. Before it was not, there was nobody who advocated for these people. Anytime the sun goes down, the restaurants on campus, eateries on campus are closed. So like there's nobody, they have to spend money out of their own pockets, either order Uber Eats, DoorDash, or any of these food delivery companies. That's not fair. I advocated for these people so as everybody could enjoy what Montclair State is about. Now, because of their before the sun come up, they could go to a restaurant on campus and eat. And after the sun go down, they could go to a restaurant on campus and eat. I am for the people. I want to make sure whatever difficulties you're having is not a difficulty when you're in Montclair State University. This is the things I have done. I've Richard done anything as such? I don't know. Maybe you should ask it yourself. But really, though, we need a person who is passionate, a person who is a leader. I am in the military. I have people who follow me, who look at me, who listen to my command. People way older than me. You understand what I'm saying? So, like a person who could lead, a leader is not necessarily a person who lead in front. A leader is a person who is able to lead at the back, at the left, at the right, and at the front. If you're able to lead in this aspect, anytime something is not going on in both in the back, you would know how to control them because you've been there. If something is not going well at the left, you will know how to lead them because you've been there. If something's not going on at the right, you will know how to lead them because you've been there. This is what a leader is about. A leader speak for the people who are strong in the face, but are weak at heart. A leader read outside of the line. People may not be speaking about the problem, but a leader is a person who understands what the problem is and find ways to solve the problem. This is what a leader is. This is what Montclair State University needs. And this is what the Student Government Association need. And this is what I will bring to Montclair State University if I become the Student Government Association president. Vote for James.
And
If you like.
one final question for those who might not know, how can the students vote this year in the SGA presidential election?
Well, for you to be able to vote, obviously some people are seeing my flyers everywhere. If you find a flyer, just scan the QR code over in it. And also you could go on Engage and go to the Engage homepage and scroll down. You see the 2022-2023 SG election. Just vote for whoever your heart is at, whoever is answering the question you're asking. Literally, I wish you guys were at the debate to see all of the inconsistency in some of these people's remarks. Really, I'm very much serious. Like, the student needs to be involved. You need to know who your president is and ask questions. They're not doing that. They're just voting blindly. I stand on the table in the student center in a cafeteria with my megaphone screaming and telling people the reason why they should vote for me. This is the passion. I went to what's the other Blanton. I stood on the table and screaming my megaphone. It's on my Instagram, and I have people coming on my Instagram saying "Vote Richard." I'm like, dude, what is this, man? This is not proper. But at the end of the day, it's the passion, it's the fuel that vote James.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I love that, and you have my vote.
Thank you very much.
I know that's for sure.